Good evening and welcome to the show. We have such an exciting show for you this evening. And we want to welcome you. And as I say for every show, because we give so much information and some of it you may miss. So we want you to go ahead and be sure you have pencil and paper, something to write on and take some notes. Because Diane for this session and the next session, and then we have transportation after that. And there's just a lot of things I think you want to write down. Don't try to remember all of this. And that's why we provide all of this information for you. I'm going to do something a little bit different for this show, something I haven't done before. And that's usually I introduce the guests and tell you all about them before I really shake hands with them or anything else. But because we've had Diane on before, and many of you may not know who she is, so I'm going to let her, after I say something about her, then I'll let you and let Diane say everything else that she needs to say before we really get into what we're going to talk about with Great Basin College. But even before that, I do want to talk about the Pahrump Prostate Cancer Support Group, and I want to invite everyone out to find out about this terrible disease. This support group meets the fourth Thursday every month, except November and December. And you're more than welcome to come out and join us and find out more about what's going on. You can always call me if you need to get in touch with me. My number is usually listed. It is 702-379-3449. And we meet in the hospital training room, which is in the lower level of the Desert View Hospital. So now let's get on with our show this evening. And we have Diane Wrightman. And Diane, welcome to the show.
Hi, thanks for having me back.
And thanks for coming back, because we have so much good information I know you want to talk about. So the first thing I want you to do is introduce yourself to the community again.
Well, I'm Diane Wrightman, and I'm the director for Great Basin College, the campus here in Pahrump. And I also oversee the campus, we have a small satellite site out in Tonopah that I oversee as well. Pretty much all of Nye County. Anytime we have any programming going on throughout the county, I'm the contact for those schools and those communities.
Okay, and you said for the campus here in Pahrump and Tonopah, where else is there a Great Basin College campus?
So we have campuses throughout the state. We have a main campus up in Winnemucca.
Okay.
We have one in Ely.
Okay.
We have a small center in Battle Mountain, and then obviously Elko's the main campus, so that's where the majority of our services are handled up there. But we do as much as we can down at the Pahrump campus as well when it comes to any kind of admissions, controller's office, financial aid. We do what we can for the students locally, and then if we do, we will refer them up to Elko, which happens from time to time depending on the student. So.
Okay. And I want to clear up a misnomer. It's something it bothers me whenever I hear somebody say it. Now, many people have said this, that when you talk about Great Basin College, you're talking about a community college. Mm-hmm. A community college can only award 2-year degrees.
Correct.
So is Great Basin College a community college?
It is not.
It's not?
It's not.
Man, what a concept.
And we're not just a purely online college either. I get that a lot in the community where individuals might think that. So we offer both 2-year and 4-year degrees.
Okay.
We're one of the only colleges in the state that do that. CSN, they offer 1 bachelor program, and then Truckee Meadows and Western Nevada, they only offer 2-year programs.
Okay.
So we offer a variety, obviously, of your 2-year associate of applied science degrees in a variety of areas, whether it's in computer technologies or business, or if you go up north to Elko, you can do some technical and career type programming, so diesel technology, instrumentation, welding, all of that will be done up in Elko.
Okay.
And then we also have your bachelor program. So we have a bachelor's, and we have 2 new bachelor programs. We have a bachelor's of English, bachelor's of arts in English, and then we have a bachelor's of science and biological sciences, which is a big deal because students who want to go into medical school or students who want to go pre-med, they have to get a bachelor's in biological sciences. Right. So that's it's great that we can offer that program here in Pahrump for our students. We also can do bachelor programs in elementary and secondary education. Or if you already have a bachelor's degree, a lot of times in these rural areas, schools are hiring teachers who already have a bachelor's under their belt, and they go through what's called an alternative route to licensure program. So the high school or elementary school or middle school will hire them on as a teacher, and then they have 3 years to complete the classes as part of the ARL to get their post-baccalaureate teacher certification. So
great.
that's how we're able to hire some teachers out here in these rural areas, which has been great. We have a 3+1 program with UNR, the University of Nevada, Reno.
What's 3+1?
So it's in social work. So the first 3 years of the program is done here locally. And then your last year is done through UNR. It's completely online, except you have to go up there, I believe it's like 4 times throughout the year. But you get your bachelor's in social work from the University of Nevada, Reno. And you're still allowed to use our facility, our computers, to be able to complete those classes if you need to.
How do you complete the practicum with that?
So we have different sites out here in Pahrump that students will do some of their their practicums at. Like the Coalition would be one of them.
Oh, okay.
I'm not exactly, I don't have the list for sure, but if you don't have any social work students at your site and you might want one, contact us because we might be able to set something up. We also have a Bachelor's of Science in Nursing. So students will go through, so we have an RN program here. We're graduating our first 3 nurses here in Pahrump, so we're excited about that. Right?
Okay.
So you'll have 3 new nurses here locally that will be working at the hospital or wherever else they want to work here in town. And once they go through that RN program, then they'll go ahead and work on their Bachelor's of Science in Nursing for the last 2 years, and it's all online after that point. So there's a bunch of 2-year and 4-year degrees that students can get right here locally. They don't have to go over to Vegas and take that long drive if they don't feel they want to. They can do them from the luxury of their own home if they'd like. If they want to take all their classes online, they can go ahead and do that. If they want to come into the center and take some classes either live or they can take them through our interactive video system that we have. So a lot of times when you're in these small communities, so for example, Tonopah or Round Mountain or Gabbs, if we're like sending classes out to these sites, the instructor is going to be live either here in Pahrump or at one of those other locations I talked about earlier, Winnemucca, Elko, but they're in the classroom and they're looking at the television, right? But everything's real time, so they can raise their hand, ask questions. They can do everything that they would normally do in a normal classroom. They just can't physically touch the instructor, but they can still have that conversation with them.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah, so that's how we're able to reach out to these other areas. And, you know, when you have 2 students at one place, 3, 4, 5, you have a group of 15 to 20 students, so there's your classroom. So
that's perfect. And small enough so the teacher have that interactive ability.
Right, exactly. And everybody can participate in the discussion that's going on. And it's kind of interesting to hear different viewpoints from throughout Nevada. So, you know, we have a political science instructor and he talks about how, you know, the students in Pahrump, they're a little bit more go-getters and they're a little bit more challenging on different topics, whereas students maybe from Ely aren't as, you know, challenging to certain topics. So, you know, it's just fun to have that different perspective.
Go Pahrump.
Right? I love Pahrump. So anyway.
Okay, I had another question. I want to go back to the teachers.
Okay.
And you were saying that they could do certain parts. How do they get their certification?
So once you graduate,
you
have your certificate and you take that to the State Board of Education and you pay whatever licensing fee it is for the state board, and there's your that's your certification. And then if you go through the post-baccalaureate, again, that's done a different way, but again, at the end of that program, you'll have your degree, so you'll be able to go and pay for that licensing to have your certification to teach here in the state of Nevada.
I know for the state of Nevada, there are other tests that you have to take. The practice?
Yeah, so to get into the teacher education program, you have to take a praxis test. It's a, you know, they just want to make sure that you know your English, your math, your sciences. It's an intro type test that you have to take, but that's just to get into the program. Once you're in it, once you get through it, once you graduate, I don't believe that there's another test you have to take.
There shouldn't be.
Right. Whereas like with nursing, you'll go through the nursing program, you'll get your RN degree, but then you have to take the NCLEX, which is the national exam that you have to take. And what's great about Nevada is that Great Basin College is ranked #1 in the state of Nevada for nursing. And for like the last 5 years, we've had a 100% passing rate on that NCLEX.
Oh,
so,
fantastic.
those instructors are top notch. And, and this is going to be the first year that, we have students in Winnemucca and Pahrump. It's a unique way that we're educating our nurses in these rural areas, trying to keep nurses, because healthcare in the rural area, in the rural counties, and trying to get people to come here is not as feasible. So by us doing this new thing that we have a grant from the government that enables us to do that, it's been awesome, and we're excited to graduate this first class and to see where they go with things. And we're going to have 8 in an upcoming class that we have coming in. We have 8 new nurses, prospective nurses, I should say. Sometimes they don't make it all the way through, but it happens.
Okay, I'm going to ask this question. How many out there, I want you to raise your hand if you learned something about Great Basin College today, and I did. There's some things that I just didn't know that Diane has already talked about, so I'm very glad to know that they're #1 in the nursing program, to know some of the processes that they need to go through to get the certification, whether it's for nursing, whether it's for teaching, or anything else. And the fact that they do have so many 4-year degree programs.
We do, and a lot of them, like I said, you can do them online. So we have a bachelor's of applied science in management, and right now it's called management and technology. They're changing the name to management and supervision. Like that program, for example, you can do it completely online. Or a bachelor's of applied science in graphic communications. So graphic design, working with Adobe programming, like Photoshop, Illustrator, InDesign. So you can do all that online as well. So those are like 2 examples of programs you can do completely online, and then you'll have your bachelor's. So.
When we talk about something so important to our community as the Great Basin College, we're always going to run out of time. One of the things that we already decided we're going to do is we wanted to talk about the programs itself, and when we come back, we're going to be talking about the future programs and all the other things that go on with Great Basin College, and for everybody around Pahrump. That's why we're here. Be sure you take these notes and come back.